Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we try and fail to read the mind of the film Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Muppert.
Joe Christopher W. Porter.
And joining us once more from the far side of the fever dream is our friend from the Star Wars Minute, Pete the Retailer. Welcome back, Pete.
Hey.
I'm not from around here, am I?
Are you some kind of pilgrim?
Yeah, you can tell. I can tell by your bangs.
Yeah. We are here to discuss minute 8 of Crystal Skull, which begins with Irina gently slapping Indy in the face and ends with her describing what she plans to find in this military warehouse.
Well, so I had a question. Right before that double slap, Indy sort of finishes his condescending laugh, and I'm wondering, does that condescending laugh shatter the telepathic bridge? Or is he just flexing his thalamus?
Maybe it's a kind of Yoda Luke thing. Like he's not buying it, so it's not working. That is why he fails.
Or is he sitting there and he's like,
Thinking of a funny joke.
Yeah. He's, like, does he feel that in his head?
Yeah, I still don't know what they're going for with
I
this.
think if he believed it, he would. But because he doesn't, he doesn't.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like a Ouija board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the face.
Right.
Yesterday or Monday we were talking about, is this like actually a power of hers, or is she just being a weirdo and trying to psych Indy out? And either way, that's a really weird thing to throw into the scene like that this early in the movie,
Yeah.
and then just
Well,
like
that's my
drop
point.
for
Yeah.
hours.
Everything feels a little disorienting without the kind of the little vignette opening in this movie too.
Right? Yeah. Like I think Jer said, like, oh, maybe this is like a kind of
Yeah.
not totally connected thing that's going on. Like Indy's
Yeah.
weird encounter with a crazy mind reading lady, and then he gets to the real movie or something.
Yeah. And then she does
It
the
is
2
strange.
quick little slaps and everybody wakes up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're in the
And
movie.
we think we're chickens.
Yeah. Well, I've been watching the Marie Kondo tidying up series.
You and my wife both.
But she that's how she wakes up books. Like when you sort through your books, she taps the books exactly like she slaps Indy here.
What do the
I
books
actually
say?
love it.
5 more minutes.
The second slap makes it all the more demeaning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it actually goes tisk tisk.
Right.
Yeah, which is great. I don't know why she does it twice. Maybe it's a Ukrainian thing.
Well, it's funny. It's the opposite of Willie Scott's. Like when she slaps, it's a literal cannon shot, like sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should've
she's
been
Maybe that's
American.
just well, she's not from around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
This is how we slap in Russia.
yes.
No, when he says ouch the next second,
Yeah. That weird
she says like
aside.
you're a hard man to read, Dr. Jones. And is he saying ouch from the gentle slap, or ouch like, oh, I'm hard to read? That
It's just
cut me to the quick. Why'd she
really
Matt,
slowly
did you hear
work
that?
his
Yeah.
way through his nervous system into his brain.
Yeah, he's the Chippendale pup from the Sleep Book. He bites his tail before he goes to bed, and then travels
Oh my God.
all the way, and then it wakes him up the next morning.
I love you.
That was for you, Jerry.
That's my favorite. The chip and Dale pup. He bites it. That was his alarm.
Yeah, he would bite
That's
his
his
tail.
alarm
and he
to
wouldn't feel
get
it until
up
the next
at-
morning because
he
his tail
would-
is so long.
Or he's diabetic.
Yeah, so Indy's face has gotten so jowly. It takes at least a minute and a half for him to feel a gentle slap.
And why does he even care about that?
Yeah,
I don't even know. Is that true? In 4 movies, is Indiana Jones a hard man to read? I don't think he is.
No, I don't think he's
People seem
either.
to think he's an open book, like they have him
Yeah.
figured out right away.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Is she being sarcastic and is he being sarcastic? Like, are they both kind of being sarcastic here?
Oh, you're so easy to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having such a hard time reading your mind.
I mean, that's why he says it like, ouch. Like he kind of says it sarcastically.
Maybe that's an ET reference from Spielberg.
Yeah. It's like an inside joke between him and Mac. Because
Yeah.
he kind of tilts to
Yeah, he
Mac.
does.
and says
Oh,
it.
maybe Indy, while he was hanging out with Mac, had a girlfriend who said the exact same thing to him, and it really broke his heart. And he's like, "Ouch, gosh, remember
Or
Gladys?"
Mac has said it to him in the past.
Yeah. What is with you people?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then Irina says, V will do this.
Rock
What is
you.
the expression? Yes.
How you say?
The old fashioned way. How you say. And then she puts on her proctology glove.
I was gonna say, wait, what old-fashioned way?
My thing says
Yeah.
she's about to give a prostate exam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bend
Yeah.
over.
It's
Which
Too old,
and,
too
and
old.
it's really but it's I'm thinking, so if they can't pull Indy's knowledge out of his head, they'll pull it out of his
Yeah.
ass.
yeah.
It's like the old joke of like, "Hey, we got to give you a shot," and the guy rolls up his arm to go, "Nah." It's like that whole thing.
And I feel like that's where Indy's knowledge lives anyway. I should have started there. I think it's all wrong trying to read his mind.
If you watch that moment, there's no other way to read that, but then that's not what
No,
it is.
No, there's not.
no
There's
other
not.
way to read that. It's really that's exactly
totally
what's going on
intentional.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also like Indy's in a very uncomfortable and vulnerable situation. So I think it kind of highlights that.
It is funny. I would like, maybe this exists already. I'm gonna have to look it up on YouTube. A super cut of foreign speaking villains, maybe not even villains, but just anybody non-English speaking as their first language saying how you say, and then forcing a
Yeah.
English
Yeah.
colloquialism.
Right.
Like a very often a very complex English colloquialism.
Yeah, that they probably don't actually know, but the
Right.
script wants them to
Right.
say it, so they know it. And
Piece
the
of
only time that
pie.
ever worked well was in was in Die Hard 3, because the guy keeps screwing it up. Like it's cluing Bruce Willis in that these guys are Germans. He's like, "It is raining the dogs and the cats, yeah," and like all these, it's just like it's all he's saying is stuff like that.
Well, I just don't like the way they've written a lot of her dialogue. It might have worked better if she actually was Eastern European, but the fact that she's English and speaks this way, it just sounds dumb. Like, what is expression?
Right.
Yeah.
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 I know the expression.
Well, then she actually says the old-fashioned way as she tightens the glove, and you're like, that's not the old-fashioned way. They did that to me 3 months ago.
Yeah, I got the okay.
They still do it that way.
That's just the fashion. It's not old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's the 50s, lady. It's what we do.
yeah. It's it's 2019. They still do it like that.
Her voice reminds me of Zoya the Destroyer, Alison Brie's fake Russian wrestling
yeah.
character from Glow.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
It does.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this, just since we're right here. Speaking of, W's into V's and the, where will we vive of all that stuff. Who is more evil? Is it the Germans or the Russians? Because we get a little bit of both here. I mean, we've had obviously the Germans and all the indie franchise, and then now we get the Russians, and they're stepping up their evil game here, and their W's and all, and the proctology glove and stuff. And I'm like, so who's more threatening here with the whole how you say?
I don't even think that's a contest.
We at least in these movies have had more actual Germans
Yeah.
speaking with German accents, so that lent some
Yeah.
credibility to their threateningness.
Yeah. And the Germans and Raiders were actual bad guys. Like they weren't always kind of these
Yeah.
slapstick comedy bad
Right.
guys.
Yeah.
Pete
Right.
hates slapstick.
Oh.
Yeah, Irina. I mean, we know Kate Blanchett is an awesome actor, and I don't have any problem seeing her in this movie. But everything so far that we've seen of her, I think you're getting at this too, Pete. That it's all very, very, like, it's all posturing. It's all like gestures and pulling on gloves and holding up 3 fingers and slaps to the cheek and stuff. And it's there's nothing. like that with the accent, it's all very just kind of surfacey and weird, and there's nothing really there's no actual person
Yeah.
there
And
yet or
I feel like
something.
maybe that was the direction. Like I almost wonder if they said like play it like a cartoon B movie character.
Yeah, all those
Right.
little like especially that 3 from last minute, like that seems
Yeah.
like a very go from the handshake right to I can hear Steven Spielberg saying that. That just seems like a very Spielberg kind of just exaggerated gesture kind of thing.
Yeah.
Are we
and,
going to have a whole nother movie of this cartoonish stuff?
Maybe. We'll see.
Like, that was kind of what bothered me about Last Crusade. But well,
Was that a real like rumor or something, or is that just somebody speculating that the best way to go forward with Indiana Jones franchise is just to make it like CG, make it animated?
Yeah, no, I don't think it was ever discussed as a real idea, but people do keep floating that, and I think that makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense actually.
Yeah, I do too.
And
Yeah.
that way, you just need somebody who can do a decent approximation of the voice, and then you just kind of have all kinds of different adventures. And you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about
Yeah.
aging and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
some
absolutely.
characters, you can't. Indy's one of those characters. You shouldn't attempt to recast him. They tried it with Spock multiple times, and it
Mhm.
hasn't worked yet. Coming
Well.
from this guy, from where I'm sitting.
All right. I think he was the. I think the Spock is the closest. I don't know. It's pretty close.
Yeah. I kind of like the new Spock.
We're talking about like pubescent Spock from Star Trek 3, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I don't know. He's got the hair, but
Right.
You call that Ponfar? I don't know.
But yeah, no, I and of course the the thing just to ruffle everybody's feathers, but also be consistent would be to get Alden Ehrenreich or whatever to play him. And,
I might be fine with that.
yeah,
I actually liked him as Han Solo.
yeah. You might maybe in 6 months or so. I might also. We'll see.
We'll have to see.
We'll see when we get
Yeah.
to that.
I feel like like Indy's a little grittier though, and I'm not sure Alden Ehrenreich came across as quite as gritty as I would like to see.
Maybe.
Right.
Well,
no,
what
yeah,
he did
I
right
wouldn't
though,
think that.
he did not try to do Harrison Ford at all. He just played a Han Solo character and didn't try to be Harrison Ford. And I think that's what a lot of people on the internet are looking for, is for somebody to just be Harrison Ford. And I don't think it's going to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. By the time this airs, the movie will be out anyway, so we'll all know what happened. So.
Well, so I had a question for you guys. The explosion on the gate lock in the background.
Yeah.
So it's the same one that we hear in Raiders when the Ark is opened and all the cameras and electrical stuff goes foobar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, is that because the Ark is in there?
I don't know
Oh,
what you're
maybe.
talking about.
Like she's channeling the power of God.
I don't. Yeah, or well. So what happens to the because she says something and then it's like it explodes.
I
The
think one of
gate
those
lock
guys, like-
explodes.
Yeah, the guy's over there hot wiring it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's misdirection. She's like, everybody look
Yeah.
at me. I'm going to slap this guy. And while everybody's looking at that, the other guy's just like messing with the
When
lock.
did you? Who? Oh.
Well, I wondered watching it. I wondered if she did it telepathically or like is it? You know, she like one of those fire starter things.
You could actually see the guy push the plunger in on the little thing.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's it's a very Star Wars kind of thing too.
It's a
Like, it looks
total
like
Star
It
Wars
sounds
sound,
like
yeah.
Star
Yeah,
Wars.
yeah, it is.
I can't
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on exactly where we hear that sound in Star Wars, but I know
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
It's a kind of like squishy explosion. Kind of
Although
poppy.
as soon as the door begins to rise, it looks exactly like the animation you'd see at the beginning of like a TV show logo or like a movie logo. Or
Oh my
movie
God. Every once in
production
a while,
company.
Pete Mummert, you say exactly what's in my notes. That's incredible. I almost wasn't going to make that comment because I didn't think I was going to explain it well and no one was going to know what I was talking about.
Well, I'm
That's
glad
exactly
you got it.
what I was
I was
thinking.
thinking that exact same thing when I said it.
Yeah, what was which theater chain had the little like thank you for coming to Lowe's thing that took you on like a roller coaster ride that was like buy snacks?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Was that Century or was it?
I don't know. We don't have Century out here.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember.
But there was one where it was just like it's that kind of like it moves you forward through a little automatic door, and then all of a sudden it's
Yeah,
driving through
yeah.
popcorn and
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, I remember
guys
that.
are shooting Coca-Cola at you or something.
Yeah, it's got that very soft, animated light coming out of it too. So it's like, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you're about to see a wondrous production from whatever Jerkenstein's brothers.
It kind of
production.
I don't know what it was about it, but it kind of reminded me of the beginning of Amazing Stories, even though it doesn't look anything like it. Just sort of
Yeah,
that weird. It's kind of weird animation. Like it looks very CGI.
it is. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
but and Tom, I'm going to be fighting you this whole movie. I think. But
okay,
I feel we're gonna just take this moment and breathe
Mhm.
because
Thank
I feel like we have some rough waters ahead.
we do.
Yes,
little
yes,
queasy.
I'll start it off on a positive note here. I mean, I could be watching a chimp urinate, and if I hear the Ark theme playing,
Mhm.
I'd consider it holy.
Yeah.
I thought you were like I want to start off on a positive note. I could be watching a chimp urinate, but instead I'm here watching Indiana Jones.
It's starting to look pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I have
made
that
the right
eye.
decision.
I have that option. I can pause this now and
Yeah.
walk across the room,
Could just have picture in picture and do both.
a
Yeah,
glass
there
of
you go.
water.
But once
Yeah.
we get past that movie opening logo, like this is pure magic when those doors open and you hear the Ark theme. Like
Yeah.
the sun setting behind him, and you suddenly realize, oh, this is where the Ark is. I think this is perfect.
That that theme is way too loaded for me to just relax and enjoy it in that kind of way. It's I'm a little
It's
queasy.
like the good silverware. It's like I'm not just gonna eat, McNuggets with this. Like, I'm gonna-
Right. I mean, I'll say in Last Crusade they they pass an etching of the Ark and the catacombs, and they do a
Uh-huh.
little bit of that theme, and that kind of makes sense because remember Raiders of the Lost Ark? There's the Lost Ark. We're playing that little theme, and here they're walking into this place. I have to tread really lightly because I don't want to throw up on my microphone or anything because it's very expensive.
I love this. No, I love it.
I'm
I love it.
actually getting a little bit hot as I'm trying to talk about it.
me and the chimp.
At this moment, given what we know now and nothing else, it's very strange that they're playing this music. Like, given nothing but what we have right now, it's very weird.
Oh, I disagree because I feel like as soon as that door opens, you're like, oh, this is where they put the Ark. Like we're finally learning
Right.
Yeah,
Mm.
right.
where the top men were.
A big warehouse
Yeah.
full
Yeah.
of boxes, and then like when you last saw the Ark, it was in a big warehouse full of boxes, and you heard that music. And so
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay. Like,
Yes.
it's letting you
Yeah.
know where you are, kind of.
Yeah.
Although I do love the idea that maybe it's diegetic, and the Ark just makes that. It's like an ice cream truck. It's just making that music all the time.
Well, I'd say Pete.
Me?
I'm going to split the difference here. Pete,
Okay.
co-host Pete Mummert.
I'll take
You know,
the split difference.
I love the pullback shot right,
Uh-huh.
where it says 51.
Yeah.
And all, I love the shot of it. It's gorgeous and beautiful, and there's, you even see like there's even the light that kind of flickers coming in that big, loading dock door or whatever that reminds you of the map room.
Mm-hmm.
It actually kind of shoots out like
Yeah.
when Indy is
Yeah.
in the map room. But I absolutely can't stand the fact that the Ark is there. It diminishes.
Wait.
an
Can I make an executive call? Let's not talk about that yet.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
I don't know if I've ever pulled that card before, but I think that's big enough that maybe we should save it.
And just not be like, well, let's not talk about it yet, and like the whole movie's going to be over. You'd be like, no, not talking about the Ark.
That's totally fine. It's just that it's at this moment. I mean, I'm with Pete the retailer at this moment, and I'm with both Pete's. You realize what's going on, and you realize that that's where you're at the place that Raiders ends.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll just say this now. I was going to say this later in a few minutes, but I would almost argue that we shouldn't talk about it at all that we should never refer to it, that we should not acknowledge it. Like literally, like actually literally.
This is where is this wait, can I ask you, Tommy, is this your your Marcus is stupid moment?
This is Steven
What happened to Marcus?
Spielberg is insane. This is Steven Spielberg never saw Raiders of the Lost Ark or didn't know that he directed it or something or never understood what he had there, and is taking the possibly the greatest final shot of any film, and he's wiping with it. He's literally wiping with it and saying, no. Let's just undo that. Let's have fun. Let's have fun with that.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
I'm going to posit that this isn't the same warehouse.
Thank you.
Because that was, between the 40s and the 50s. So like there was, or the 30s. What's the year that Raiders?
Yeah, 36.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but at that point, it was probably a warehouse more, possibly
Like in Washington,
East Coast
D.C. area,
somewhere.
or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But then, as we know, in the intervening years, there was, Roswell and Area 51 became like a thing. They started like,
Right.
as the space race kind of started to build up to be a thing, they probably established this higher security warehouse, and they moved everything from the original spot where it was into this new location. So I think it's the new warehouse.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I buy that too.
But even then, the point of that last shot, or one of the many points of that last shot of Raiders of the Lost Ark, is oh my God. After all of this, it's just tucked away, never to be seen again, except in 2008 when they make a very cheap, dumb gag out of it.
No, see, I
think it's a cheap,
I
dumb
think different.
gag.
Like but I think, well, like when you see it in 1981, you're like, wow, I wonder what's in all those other boxes. I'd love to see, it sure would be cool to see some of these other stories about what's in some of these other boxes. And you get that in this movie, which I'm not saying works very well all the time, but you get that, and you don't really get a hit you over the head. Well, not a huge hit you over the head moment with the Ark in this. I think he did it fairly nicely.
I am I allowed to talk about this, Tommy?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I tried
No,
something
I'm checking.
unnatural.
Deferential. I'm being deferential too, because I can appreciate being so angry about the end, because no, it's as if you have one of the coolest, greatest endings, in Raiders, because you have the most powerful thing on earth, and it's like wiped clean by the wrath of bureaucratic fools.
Yeah.
But big, it's not a sandstorm, it's big government.
I can't hear
it's
that
brilliant.
quote without Tom talking about wiping with it now, though.
Wiped clean by the wrath of Hollywood bureaucratic fools.
And not that clean either.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it's brilliant to hide it instead of, what are they going to put the Ark of the Covenant in the Marshall College Museum?
Uh-huh.
But it's like the whole point of the end of Raiders. It's like, well, it's hidden once again. They find it, and the Ark of the Covenant's out for 4 days or something.
Yeah.
And it's like you have this beautiful. It's in Shishak and the Well of the Souls and the whole, and then it's completely lost to the ages again, never to be opened, but in a modern way, which is just mind blowing.
I
And
agree.
then
yeah.
and then it's just like, you never knew where the Ark was stored, just as the audience member. And so now there's something that's so ironic about that,
It's
and beautiful. And, now where the Ark is stored, and it's
It's like finding out that Charles Foster Kane also had a niece named Rosebud, or that was the combination to his safe or something, or
Yes.
it's
Yes.
like, oh, wait a minute. I've gone 50 something years, 60, 70, 80 years thinking that this was the meaning of the ending of this movie.
going to
Yes.
the Rosebud Sled Factory in Mawa.
Yeah. Everybody's
The
got a
Rosebud
sled.
sled. Exactly. It's just, the ending of Raiders is not at all what you're expecting, and it's this, it's a commentary on big government or and we talked about this, a lot. Like, was it the right thing to do? And the answer is yes. In a way, yes.
Mhm.
It's a right thing to do because it's the most powerful weapon of mass destruction. They're hiding it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or however, you could argue it a lot of different ways, but that's what was so brilliant about it, is you could kind of, many ways you could go with it. And the ending was like, it wasn't a happy ending.
Right.
I mean, he gets Marion, but he loses, he gets the Ark and loses the Ark. And there's also this like all powerful Yahweh thing over it too.
Yeah. I mean, Sala said it best. He could have been referring to this scene. Sala said it's something that man was not meant to disturb. We should just
agree
not
with-
touch the Ark anymore.
But nobody finds it in this movie. Like, it's not.
the audience
they don't-
does.
Well, yeah, but they don't get it out and use it, or they don't. I
Mm.
think that's a nice little. I think that's a nice little way to tie the movies together.
I tried to do something unnatural earlier by trying to stop the conversation, but I think I do have to say that I am not going to acknowledge this anymore. I won't feel good about myself as a human or an indie fan if I acknowledge what we're talking about. I want to be able to sleep at night.
No, you know what? I have respect for that.
Okay.
It's what you don't need to tie the movies together. We have Indiana Jones to tie the movies
He's got a
together.
hat.
Although,
Yeah, he's got a hat.
It's kind of like the Bat Cave, where you see like, oh yeah, there's the the giant penny from when he did this.
Right.
Like,
The dinosaur.
it's like,
yeah.
all right, it's
But
like-
now I know it's at Area 51. The Ark of the Covenant's at Area 51.
right.
Well,
it
but
was.
nobody else does. Yeah, well, I don't know what that changes.
But I'm the audience.
And
So it's like, but no one else does. You're like, but except for everybody else.
yeah, but you're not.
In reality, not in the magic world, but in reality.
Well, I mean, it's a movie. You can't go to this area if you want to open up the Ark. I mean, it's. I don't know. It
tell me what I
doesn't. To
can't
me,
do.
it doesn't change anything about the Raiders.
I'm sorry I stopped talking about it, so I can't back up Jerry.
I know.
So Pete the retailer, can you help us navigate here? Is it are you do you think that it doesn't change anything and the movie still is fine? It's just kind of a little chin chuck to the audience, or do you think it diminishes the end of Raiders?
And by the way, this is one of your parents asking, "Do you love mommy better or do you love daddy?"
I do have to say I find it refreshing, like not having it be my franchise. The stakes seem not as high for me. I can just be like, yeah, I enjoyed this. Like, I don't care.
Well, you had 3 of these movies to wade through.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
That's kind of what it's like. Okay, without talking about this, like it's like having Star Wars, and then because of the prequels, you have to watch parts of Star Wars differently. Like they have a different, like, wait,
Yeah.
why doesn't Ben remember owning a droid?
Yeah.
Why doesn't he remember R2D2? Like all that kind of stuff.
But those change, like Star Wars changes the original. I don't feel like this changes anything. Like other than you see where the warehouse is.
yeah. I mean, it's less kind of. It interferes less. It's not like he,
Yeah.
like you said, it's not like they take out the Ark and use it. It's not like somebody, explains, that the Ark is like. It's not like the aliens say that they left the Ark there or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
Well, you were right. It doesn't change the way the Indiana Jones universe, sees the Ark or whatever you want to say. But I would just file it under a less is more. I don't need to know that there are midichlorians.
Right.
The Force is just the Force
See,
is
I don't
just.
feel like this is. Oh, that was a cheap shot. I don't.
Well, that was a cheap shot. Look! I'm pulling it back. It's a double light slap, Pete. That's all it is. It's a double light slap. I don't mean it nearly as bad as that. It doesn't change everything like
He
that.
was just making that reference for my sake, so I understand.
Yeah, he was slapping you that time, so
Seriously,
I'm okay with that.
I never need to know where the Ark of the Covenant was stored ever, because I don't need to know.
I'm not listening.
And if somebody
anymore,
said,
but I
"Hey, do you
agree
want
with Jerry
to
completely.
know where that was?" I'd be like, "No, I don't need to know. It's somewhere maybe around the Pentagon. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. To me, this doesn't change anything. And no, not one single character in the movie like looks over. It's like, oh, that's the Ark. Like, there's absolutely no difference made that that the Ark is in a warehouse here as opposed to the Ark is in a warehouse.
Well, then let
in
me ask you
Potomac.
this, smart guy. Why do they play the Ark theme?
Well, so you know what it is here. How I maybe see it more like not like midichlorians or any of the stuff from the prequels, but it's almost more like like Finn pulling out the Jedi training remote from the bag in Force Awakens, where it's just kind of like,
Yeah,
hey audience,
yeah.
here's a thing, and the characters
Yeah.
are just not necessarily involved in that. It doesn't change anything for them, but it's being, or like when he leans on the chess table and turns it on, and it's just like, remember this thing, like, but without
Right,
being
right,
Right.
right.
directly
I'm not
involved
listening.
in
That's
the
a good
plot.
point.
But I mean, but that is a good point. But the chess table.
Let me point out, both of those things bother me in The Force Awakens.
So you don't like either mommy and you don't like daddy either.
Weirdly, I liked it better when it was midichlorians, so I don't know where I'm at.
Well, it's just, that's a very iconic ending, and so there you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I love that ending, and I like that I get to get a little, a little callback to it.
Okay.
Well,
all right. Well, let me ask you guys this.
I'm sweating.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually the chimp's watching me pee. So, if this is a military warehouse, Indy says this quote: "This is a military warehouse. I've never been here before in my life." Is Indy telling the truth?
I think I dug into that a little bit myself mentally. I think he's telling the truth, but those sentences are unrelated. It's like, this is a military warehouse, and I've never been here before in my life. But I've he's been to a million like this, and he's probably maybe seen a photo of it or a schematic or something, like where because we later learned that he did a lot of work, for the government in the intervening years, and so I think he's not necessarily lying, but also that's not like the heart, the meat of his statement is not the intent isn't the same.
See, I think from the movie I would agree with you, but once again, thank you, Curtis. I've been going through the novelization at the same time we're watching the movie, and it's interesting. In the novel, as soon as the door opens to the warehouse, it says Indy immediately recognized the smell of diesel oil. Like he immediately knew he was somewhere he had last been 10 years ago.
That smells like 10-year-old
Oh,
diesel.
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not to jump ahead, but in the next minute, don't we find out that he does? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it is true that he literally hasn't been here, but he knows exactly what they're there for.
Right.
And
Right. He knows how to find it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Although I do find it weird that Indy isn't more curious about everything else that's in here. Like if he knows what she's getting at, and he seems to know what she's getting at, like I would just be looking at every box, like, oh my god, what's in that?
Yeah.
Like what's in that?
Well,
What's in
Christmas
that?
lights. Oh.
sure.
My sixth grade homework.
The original first Christmas lights ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus' Christmas lights.
The Star of Bethlehem.
The actual Star of Bethlehem. Well, then she says, or it somehow comes up, I don't know, mummified remains, and we have an Ark theme. I'm thinking this is a Shishak movie.
Oh,
Yeah. When I saw this the first time, I thought she was talking about the Ark. Like I thought it was gonna be about the Ark of the Covenant again.
Huh.
Because the way she describes the box, rectangular storage container,
Right.
Yeah.
contents of mummified remains. Oh god, she's talking about the Ark. And I'm curious if other people thought that too, because I totally thought this was going to be.
Yeah, I think.
An
I
Ark
mean,
movie.
is that kind of she? Yeah. Now I can't remember. It was 4 cubits, 2 hectograms, or whatever. remember the 2 cherubims.
400 quatlus.
Yes.
But she says 2 meters by 1/2 meter, and that seems like it'd be pretty close to the size. Of the
I
Ark
think you're
container.
supposed to think they are talking
Yeah.
about the Ark. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
but it's
For
super.
sure.
Like one of the dimensions is like 60 centimeters or something like that. That seems kind of narrow for.
Yeah,
any part
that
of the
was
Ark.
weird. Yeah.
Hmm.
Although I don't. Yeah, I don't know what 66 centimeters actually is.
Well, it's like
My wife would know.
that's what,
She's good at that
that's,
stuff.
2/3 of a meter, so that's like
Okay, so that's
it's
2
like
feet.
2 feet almost,
Yeah.
or more, slightly more, right?
Yeah.
26 inches, let's say.
Yeah.
And take back 1 centimeter to only the Nevada mayor whose arc this is.
Well,
Is Tom coming back, or is this
I'm
I
here.
know,
I'm here.
I-
We're talking about other stuff now.
Pete?
happy
You want
as
to
a
join
clam.
us as our third co-host?
I just looked it up. I said about 26 inches, and it's 25.984 inches. So
Whoa.
Wow,
Dang.
impressive.
Nice
Wow.
going, Spock.
no good Spocks.
Yeah, we know that was not a compliment when he called you
Yeah.
going, Scott. That was the,
Nice
You
going,
can be
modern
legitimately Spock-like without trying to play him in a movie and not being Leonard Nimoy.
Spock. So what am I doing? Am I closing out your show or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just disbanded.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
We
hey,
tried, everybody.
Indiana Jones Minute guys, where can we find you on the internet?
Oh, you can check us out on IndianaJonesMinute.com, and that's it.
Yeah.
Actually, we didn't plug ourselves last time, did we? Hey, wait, Jerry, before I ask our guest about stuff, is there anything like coming in or anything? or
Not yet.
any wires?
Not
or...
yet.
Oh, okay.
No. There it is.
Oh, my God.
This just in from Professor Christy Porter. Does anyone else know she's magical?
Well, look at her.
She's
a beauty.
Huh. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. Like, does it? So of all those other Russians there sitting around, do they have any idea what she's doing when she, reaches at Indy's head and goes?
It would be nice to see some reaction shots from some of them. Like, do they
Yeah.
like rib each other? Like, hey, here she goes again. Totally weird.
She tried that on me last night.
I fell for it.
Yeah, no, see,
I squealed like a pig.
that's kind of it. She did. She does do it in front of, like, I want to say literally God and everybody.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing, though. If you're like a Nazi or a Stalinist, if you see your commanding officer doing something, you just re-roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's
Sir,
cool. Yep.
what you doing?
All right.
Well, Pete the Retailer, thank
Yeah,
you for
me.
joining us once again.
Oh, thank you. For
I
having
hope
me.
you had fun. I hope we didn't make you uncomfortable with our domestic squabbles and
No.
and
Like I said, it's
Moral
it's
dilemmas.
refreshing.
all right. Yeah, you need more hatred on your show. I like your show very much, but you need to yell at each other more. You guys are too nice. Speaking of shows, what show are you from?
I'm from many shows. I'm the man of many
You are.
shows. But no, mainly Star Wars Minute at StarWarsMinute.com. But also in the past, I've been. I also do I'm kind of behind the scenes on a show I do for my day job called Here's an Idea, and it's a tech podcast that comes out monthly, where we kind of delve into some stories behind technology around a theme. And,
Very cool.
You won't hear me
Yeah.
on that, but you'll hear my handiwork.
We'll sense you.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. Do you feel like sticking around for a couple of days and coming back on Friday?
Sure.
Okay.
So it's like it's not. Can you come back tomorrow? It's like you want to like just chill and do nothing tomorrow. And we'll
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
hit the links.
Yeah. You get a per diem and everything.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. Got to look into
Yeah,
that.
we're doing it right this season.
Hmm.
But all of you out there, if you don't have anything else to do tomorrow and you can't wait until Friday, you should visit us online over at IndianaJonesMinute.com, and you should find us on Facebook at the Indiana Jones Minute and the Listeners Crusade group over there. Join the conversation. All your friends are there, and we're all having fun. And please do come back on Friday for Minute 9 of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
That's for you, Peter.
Me?
two
Ouch.
little smacks.
That's what you get for not liking either mom and your daddy.
Maybe I won't come back on Friday.